Hello, music learners. Today I'm going to talk about time signatures. You might feel there is a lot to learn about this, but actually you only need to know 4 things. After this video, everything will be so clear and all the doubts will be away from you. You don't need to take any notes because, steady on, I have taken them for you. There is an ebook that you can download at the end of this video, the link is below, where you can find everything I say today and more. The ebook comes with explanations with examples, quick tasks, tips, some of my famous cheat sheets, a manuscript for your notes, and a quiz to revise your knowledge. All of this completely for free for now. So hurry up and download the ebook for free before it's too late. If you know me a little bit, I am Rossella and I'm your Italian music teacher. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube of course, and you can visit my website theoryvirtuoso.com where you can see all the things that I publish and you can find out about my fast track to Grade 5 Theory, a course that allows you to take the exam in only 35 days. It's fun, light, easy, lightly presented, and you only need to take a few boxes a day to achieve your goal. The link is below. Now, let's get started. I said that you only need to know 4 things about time signatures. Number 1, you might know that the semibreve or semi-brief is the value that lasts 4 counts. What if I tell you that this is not always the case? Listen to this. Does a semi-breve or semi-brief last always 4? Yes or no? Think about it. The answer is no. And this is why. In this piece by Bach in 4/4, the semi-breve would last 4 because it's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then again 1, 2, 3 and 4. In this other piece in 2 halves, the semi-breve would last 2 minims. So we would need to count to 2 because each count is a minim. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it depends on the time signature. For this reason, the best way to describe the value, so the duration of a note, is by using a symbol attached to a fraction. The fractions allow us to give to a symbol a certain value that it's always the same. So the semibreve is not just 4, but it's 4/4. Now imagine this is the symbol of the semibreve. It could be a pizza. I love pizzas. And you? The semibreve lasts 4/4, 4/4. This means that the bottom number, 4, tells us that our pizza is cut in 4 slices, like this. The semibreve will eat them all, the 4 on the top. Lucky. So the value will stay for the entire length of the circle. The half of a semibreve is a minim, and the symbol is a circle with a stem. The minim lasts half of a semibreve, so it's 2/4. Our pizza is still cut in 4 slices, but the poor minim eats just 2 of them. And the value is exactly the length of 2 slices. After the minim, we have the crotchet, which is a minim coloured in. The crotchet lasts half of the minim. So 1/4. Our pizza is still cut in 4 slices and the crotchet eats only 1 of it. Poor thing. After the crotchet, we have a quaver. That is a crotchet with a flag. The quaver is half of a crotchet. Can you figure out what the fraction would be? If you said 1/8, you were correct. In fact, we need to cut our pizza in 8 slices, so our party gets busier and busier. You can see from the graph that the slices are getting smaller and smaller each time they are cut in half, so the sound is shorter and shorter. After the quaver, we have the semi-quaver. The semi-quaver is 1/16, so our pizza is cut in 16 slices, and the semi-quaver eats this much. Now, I'm not going to draw anymore because I'm an awful drawer. But you can understand that the next value is 1/32. And the name of this value is the demi-semiquaver. It has 3 flags and it's very short. After the demi-semiquaver, we have another value that lasts 1/64, 1/64. It's called the hemi-demi-semiquaver. And I bet you don't know that there is another value that is shorter than that and is 1/128. It is called the semi-hemi-demi-semiquaver. So long. Semi-hemi-demi-semiquaver. Now, follow me on this. Semi, if you speak Latin, means half. Hemi, if you speak Greek, means half. And demi, if you speak French, means half. So you can see the pattern here. Semibreve, minim. Crotchet, which in some countries is called semi-minim. Quaver, semiquaver. Demi-semiquaver. Hemi-demi-semiquaver, semi, hemi, demi, semiquaver. Watch out, because sometimes you put the demi, semi and hemi in another order and the value does not exist. Watch out for this. If we have a semibreve, it means that we have a breve. Breve means short, but actually the breve is the longest value that we can have. And it lasts, do you want to guess? 2 semibrevi, 2 pizzas. Wow. Its fraction is 4/2, 4 minims. Now you know it. If you can, learn these musical values very well. I have a cheat sheet for you, completely for free and always for free. It is included in the ebook and lets you remember names, symbols, rests and value. It's quite useful to have. Values are very important. The duration of notes make rhythms. Rhythm and pitches make music. Number 2, what is a time signature? The time signature is a fraction added at the start of each piece. The top number tells us what to count to in each bar. The bottom number tells us the value of each count. Now, imagine that we are in 3/4, so we have 3/4. We need to count to 3 in each bar, and each count is equivalent to a, do you want to guess? You need to think of a value that has a 4 in its fraction. It's the crotchet, 1/4. So 3/4, in fact, is 3 times 1/4. 3 crotchets. Now you know it. Based on what you've just learned, can you guess what 6/8 is? Pause the video if you need. 6, we need to count to 6, and 8 is 4/1/8, which is the value of a quaver. So we have 6 quavers in each bar, or anything equivalent to it. There will be no bars in that piece without 6 quavers, apart from the first and the last. But this is another story. We cannot have a bar, apart from the first and the last, with less than 6 quavers, or more than 6 quavers. So it has to be 6 quavers, or anything equivalent to it. I have one more question for you. What about this time signature? 12/16. Do you want to guess? We count to 12, and each count is equivalent to a semiquaver. Well done. 12 semiquavers. Quite a crowded bar. Very often in music, we find a C instead of the time signature. This is called common time, and it's equivalent to 4/4, 4/4, 4 crotchets in a bar, or 4 crotchet beats in a bar. It is called common time because, as you can guess, it's one of the most common time signatures in music. So to save ink and to save the hassle to those that copy every score by hand, they would put a C. Sometimes the C can have a line through. In this case, it's half of the common time. It's called half time, or alla breve, 2 halves, 2 minims per bar. Now you know it. Number 3, counting. How do we count? Yes, we said that the top number tells us to count to 2, to 3, to 4, 5, 7, whatever you like, 12, 9. But how do we count? It's not just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because music is a little bit more dynamic than that. And I'll tell you something, each count would start with number 1, and that number 1 has a sort of an inner momentum that pushes the music forward. That number 1 is called downbeat, and it's the first place in each bar. We can have a rest, we can have a note, it doesn't matter, the downbeat falls there, on the first position. The first thing in each bar is on the downbeat. All the rest is the upbeat. The upbeat pushes the music forward and creates a tension that falls again onto the next downbeat. You can see that the music flows thanks to that. So we have to put a little stress on all the number 1s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If it's 5, it's the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Odd, because 5 is an odd number, but still, this is the case. Now you know it. Now I have to stop a little bit on this downbeat and number 1s because I have a very good example of a very popular song that has been mistreated by the fact that we don't know about this number 1. Watch this video. This is one of the most famous piano pieces in the world. It's a Klavierstück, meaning a piece for piano by Beethoven, usually called Fürelise or Forelise. As we can see from the time signature, the piece is in 3 and we count in quavers. The music starts with semiquavers, so there should be 2 notes per count. The first bar is incomplete because it starts with an upbeat. This means that our main accent falls onto the beginning of the next bar. Listen to this. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. But when we hear this piece played by students or amateurs, we hear 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This means that we create a bar of 4 and keep all the rest in 3. Want to hear it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Listen to this instead. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. My heart was in pain. So please remember that. If you want to try in pop music or any music with the lyrics, we'll show this in detail and very well. Because if we don't put the accent on and the stress on number 1, and if we use words that don't really fit, we will feel a little bit odd. And there you go. You can see a good songwriter from that too. Choose the right words and put them in the right place. That's the first rule. Now you know it. Number 4, grouping. Grouping is painful for loads of you, I know. And I know that most of you feel that it's a mystery in music. Not anymore after this video. We said that the time signatures tell us what to count to and the value of each count. We also said that there is a momentum in each number 1, in every bar. Now I didn't tell you another important bit, that each count includes some sort of subcounting, an additional step between that number and the next one. These are called subdivisions and they are everywhere in music. So for example, if the time signature tells us to count to 2, we need to think of 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry, I said that we were counting to 2. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. However, this is only one option that we have, because this option with 1 and only, so 2 subdivisions for each count, including the counting, is for simple times. So simple times have 2 subdivisions only. We could count in 4, 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. And this is the extended version in detail, basically, of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. All right. But we have also compound times, and compound times have 3 subdivisions. So let's go back to our counting in 2, and we find 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. We can count to 3, we can count to 4. It's still 2 more steps between a number and the next one. So for example, here's the difference between simple and compound time if we count to 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now you know it. What is the value of that and? It depends. If we count in crotchets, that and would be its half, so a quaver. If we count in quavers, that and, well, it's different. Because in compound time, you can see that the 6 quavers, 6/8, will be 1 and 2 and. This is why 6/8, it's called duple compound. Well, compound duple. So it's compound because it has 3 subdivisions, and duple because we count to 2. So we don't do 1 and 2 and 3 and if we are in 6/8, but we count in 3s. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. The same thing would be for 9/8 or 12/8. In other words, all the multiples of 3 are compound times. Everything else would be simple. So 3/4 is simple time because it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. Did you know this? So let's go back to grouping, because I haven't told you that grouping, in fact, follows the time signature. So if we count in 2 and we have 3 subdivisions, we have to see 2 groups of things. And each group would have 3 items. It depends on what the items are. If we are in 6/4, it will be 3 crotchets and 3 crotchets. That's it. Grouping follows this. You just need to remember that when we have an even number, so for example 2/4 or 4/4, the middle of the bar must be clearly indicated. So for example, we cannot have this because the middle of the bar is confusing. But instead we will have to have this. As you can see, we have 2 on the side and 2 on the other side. Just think of a scale. It has to be fully squared instead of pending towards a side or the other side. Based on what I've just said, can you tell me if this grouping is correct? Think and pause the video if you need. The answer is yes, this grouping is correct because this time signature is 12/16 and we group them in 3s. So we have 1 and semiquavers, 2 and semiquavers, 3 and are the 3 semiquavers, and 4 and are the 4 semiquavers. Were you right? Tell me in the comments below. And what about this grouping here? Do you think that this is correct? Look at that quaver in the middle. We are in 6/8 and we should have 6 quavers grouped in 3s. So we should have 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. How come that this is not the case? It is an interesting question, isn't it? Do you want to know it? Okay, I'll tell you. Sometimes the composers need to group the notes differently because they want to highlight something called articulation. So they want to separate the notes because the phrasing is different. And the best way to do it is to detach them, detach the items from their natural position. It is very common, to be honest. Great composers use this a lot if they need it, especially from the last century onwards. But you only need to know that this is possible. And in fact, this very example is real. And now, as promised, I am going to talk about the difference between 6/4 and 3/2. There are some videos about it around if you know it already, otherwise listen to this. So based on what I said, 6/4 is a compound time and it's tuple because it's 1 and 2 and. Each item is a crotchet because we need to have 6 crotchets and it's compound. So 2 groups of things. 3/2 is 3 minims and 3 is not compound, it's simple. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. We need to get to the number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So this is a bar in 6/4 and this is a bar in 3/2. You can see the difference. It's totally different. If you think that there will be a momentum, 1 and 2 and, or 1 and 2 and 3 and, you can see that it makes a huge difference. And now you know it. So for example, is this bar in 3/2 or 6/4? The answer is 3/2 because there are 3 minims here. Did you guess it right? Finally, I promised to tell you something about grouping of rests when we count to 3. So many of you are messaging me about this and I understand that it's confusing because I can't really tell you why it's like that, but it's a rule in music, that's it. When we have a rest and we count to 3, remember in compound time, remember that we have 3 things, 1 and. If the rest is in position 1 and 2, the 2 counts can be merged. And so the rest could be a bigger one. If the rest is in position 2 and 3, they cannot be merged. So you have to keep them separate. So for example, if we are in 6/8, this is correct because the 2 quaver rests would occupy position number 1 and 2 in our counting, 1 and so they can be merged and make a crotchet. But in this other case, the rest is incorrect because the 2 quavers are in position 2 and 3, so they need to be separate. This is the rule, and we just have to remember it. Please don't ask me why, it's a rule in music. But that said, I have found a piece in which Haydn broke this rule massively and showed exactly this. So you can see that something is wrong here. Also in orchestral music, to be honest, you can find grouping of rests differently organized because they need to see the alignment of things. In that case, there is a practical reason behind that. So the conductor would know exactly what goes with what in each instrument. So that makes sense. But in parts like the piano part, like Haydn, well, you could try to guess. I hope this video was useful. Follow me, share this video with other people, download the free ebook. The link is in the description below. If you can't see it anymore by clicking the link, go and visit my website, theoryvirtuoso.com. You will find it there. Remember that you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, sign up to my newsletter to stay in touch with me and have many of these teaching and learning resources. Thank you for watching. Bye!